Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. If you've been following One Piece into the Final Saga and the Elbaf arc, you know the seas have literally never been this chaotic. Today, we are charting the ultimate, definitive pyramid of power. The hierarchy of strength has completely shifted as of 2026. So if you've been trying to figure out who truly rules the new world right now, you're in the exact right place. Seriously, forget everything you thought you knew about the balance of power. Because the rules, they've completely changed. Okay, let's dive into this. To truly understand the definitive top-tier rankings today, we first must establish the ground rules. We'll briefly cover power in the Final Saga, the ongoing arms race of Haki versus Devil Fruits, map out the broader top 100 hierarchy, and then jump straight into the absolute apex predators, the Yonko, the Admirals, and finally, the ultimate evil. Section 1. Power in the Final Saga. The stakes in 2026 are quite literally world-ending. Power scaling isn't just about who can punch harder anymore. We're looking at an unprecedented level of combat where fighters are casually wiping islands off the map and literally manipulating the fabric of reality. We're way past the days of simply stretching really far. Now, just to be clear up front, we aren't looking at every single character in history for this explainer. We're synthesizing the absolute most dangerous, active fighters dominating the seas today. Section 2. Haki versus Devil Fruits. Let's move to the core mechanics that dictate a character's rank today. For years, Logia fruits were considered the untouchable apex of the world. But that game has changed. Today, the very top of the power hierarchy is heavily dictated by mythical Zoans. This is the rarest devil fruit tier, allowing the user to transform into actual mythological deities and creatures alongside highly awakened Paramecia fruits. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what's disrupting the balance of the world. Think about it. You've got Monkey D. Luffy wielding a mythical Zoan that grants him literal cartoon physics reality manipulation. It's insane. And then you have Marshall D. Teach, Blackbeard, who essentially broke the system. He holds the most dangerous Logia to nullify other powers, plus the most destructive Paramecia, capable of planetary-scale earthquakes. But here's the thing. A broken fruit just isn't enough on its own anymore. On one side of the coin, you have pure Haki mastery. Advanced Conqueror's Haki can completely bypass and nullify even the strongest Devil Fruit intangibility. On the flip side, you have Devil Fruit awakenings that shatter the laws of physics entirely. The absolute strongest fighters alive right now, they usually possess both, or they have an extreme, unshakable mastery of one to compensate. Section 3. The Top 100 Hierarchy. Okay, to give proper scale to the monsters at the top, we need to map out the broader universe. If we're counting down the top 100 strongest characters based on raw feats, Haki, and status, it falls into distinct, terrifying tiers. Counting down from 100 to 75, we find the elite commanders, powerful Manx, and veteran warlords. Think Jack, Jimby, and Doflamingo. Moving down the bracket from 74 to 45, you run into the Seraphim clones, revolutionary commanders, and Yonko right-hands like Marco and Katakuri. Then, hitting ranks 44 to 21, it gets wild. Supernovas like Law, the mysterious Holy Knights, and Marine Admirals. Finally, just knocking on the door of the top 10, sitting at ranks 20 down to 11, we have former Yonko like Kaido, legends like Rayleigh, and the Gorosei. And yes, before you even ask, Buggy the Clown somehow failed to make the top 10 despite his Emperor status. Make no mistake, these 90 characters are world-ending threats. But the true summit of power belongs to a definitive top 10. Let's count them down. Section 4. The Yonko and Admirals. This is where Haki and Devil Fruits clash at the highest possible level. Kicking off our top 10 countdown, we actually have a dead tie for the 10th and 9th spots. The former mentor and his absolute best student, Monkey D. Garp and Kuzan. This dynamic is just so tragic, isn't it? On one side, you have Garp. Even way past his prime, the man is fighting on the level of active admirals using nothing but his bare fists and advanced Conqueror's Haki. On the other side is Kuzan, now Blackbeard's strongest captain. Kuzan has Haki strong enough to match Garp's, but he pairs it with the devastating Ice Logia fruit. Their recent clash proved that Kuzan's brutal fruit abilities, combined with the exact Haki training Garp instilled in him, puts them entirely neck and neck in the current era. Moving into ranks 8 and 7, we have the world's strongest swordsman, Dracul Mihawk, and the Fleet Admiral of the Marines, Akainu. Our sources note that Fleet Admiral Akainu is quite literally the most fearsome weapon at Imu's disposal. His magma fruit canonically holds the highest offensive power in the entire series. It's just lethal. Meanwhile, Dracula Mihawk sits right beside him with a staggering 3.59 billion belly bounty. And you want to know the craziest part? He achieved that entirely without a devil fruit. Mihawk's ranking relies purely on his unparalleled sword skills and a Haki presence so potent, it rivals the Emperors themselves. Cracking the top tier at ranks 6 and 5, we introduce two massive wildcards into the mix. Loki, the accursed prince of Elbath, and Monkey D. Dragon, the revolutionary leader. Loki has completely upended the power scales in the current Elbath arc. The guy has a 2.6 billion belly bounty. He murdered his own father Harold, he wields a devil fruit-infused warhammer named Ragnir, and he casually throws around Advanced Conqueror's Haki on par with Big Mom and Kaido. Then you have Dragon, the world's worst criminal. We haven't even seen his full capabilities on screen yet, but his extreme political influence and the sheer terror he strikes into the world government places him as an unmeasured, devastating threat. You don't get that title without the power to back it up. Coming in at ranks 4 and 3, we have the ultimate pirate rivals of the modern era, Monkey D. Luffy and Marshall D. Teach, better known as Blackbeard. Now, what's really interesting here is the massive contrast in their flaws and strengths. Luffy has reached a state of god-tier adaptability with his sun god Nika awakening in Gear 5. His attack potency is off the charts, but he suffers from severe stamina limits. If a fight drags on, Luffy burns out. That stamina issue keeps him just shy of the absolute top spots. Blackbeard, though, he's the only character in existence wielding 2 devil fruits. He's cunning, he fights dirty, and his combo of darkness and tremor makes him an absolute nightmare for anyone who relies on devil fruit abilities. Unveiling rank number 2, we have the captain of the Red Hair Pirates, Shanks. Shanks is universally recognized right now as the strongest mortal pirate alive, period. He relies entirely on Haki, possessing 0 devil fruit gimmicks. I mean, we all saw him absolutely obliterate the kid pirates with a single, terrifying divine departure attack. This is the same man who stopped the Marineford War literally just by showing up. Shanks proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that supreme, overwhelmingly powerful Haki can overcome almost any devil fruit in existence. He is the benchmark for pure power. Section 5, the ultimate evil. So the crucial point is, who could possibly sit above Shanks, above the Emperors? Who subjugates the fleet admirals and commands the Gorosei from the shadows? The undisputed #1 strongest entity in One Piece as of 2026 is Aimu, the ruler of the Empty Throne. Everything we know paints Aimu as an overwhelming, terrifying, destructive force. They are the immortal ruler of the world and the likely slayer of the original Joy Boy. Sources indicate Aimu cannot even be harmed by anyone lacking Advanced Conqueror's Haki. And even then, they survived combined legendary attacks from Rox, Roger, Garp, and Whitebeard, without even being phased. More terrifyingly, Aimu possesses an ability called the Dalmi Reversi technique, which is capable of turning legendary fighters into raging, subjugated demons. They are the absolute dark counterpart to the sun god Nika. Which brings us to the ultimate question. If Aimu controls the world from the shadows, commanding a power gap this massive, how can the remaining pirates possibly unite to overthrow the Empty Throne? It's a staggering thought to end on, as we watch the Final Saga unfold to resolve this seemingly impossible conflict. Thank you so much for joining this explainer on the true hierarchy of power. Keep exploring the lore, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.